Hello guys, welcome to new YouTube video. In today's video we will see how to debug the Java code using the IntelliJ IDEA. First we will see the some basic concepts of the debugging, and then we will just go through the real world example how we can apply the debugging concepts to find the issues and the solve. So let's just first see the what the code we are using for this video. So this is the calculator class in which we are doing the calculations based on the items and the quantity that user purchased them. So we are just doing calculation by applying the discounts and the tax but there is one issue in this code. So let's just run and see what is the issue. If I run this code, then you can see in the console it is showing bill calculation. Okay, so subtotal bills before the discount means we are calculating the bills by multiplying the quantity by the item price. Then again we are applying the discount. Okay, and also we are applying the calculating the tax and adding the tax into the bill. But if we see the bill calculation started, then subtotal before discount is 300, but final bill amount is 389. So it is greater than the our subtotal, means it will be greater than if we, because we are adding the taxes, but the difference is huge. Means I think the discount is not getting applied, so we have to find why the discount is not getting applied. So if you run the application, then you have to go to the code and find what is the error. So but in the larger code base, means the code is very huge, so you cannot go line by line and each time just run and find the issue and every time you can run. So instead of this, you can use the debugging. So you can pause the program execution at the point where you want, and you can inspect what are the variable values and how the code is getting executed. So the applying the breakpoint or just using in the debugging, you can means understand what is going wrong in your code. So let's see, basically just go through what is debugging, and then we will move to the how we can solve this issue. Okay, so debugging means finding and fixing errors or unexpected behavior in your program. It is like pausing your program and checking what's happening line by line. When you run the program normally, it executes everything. Just we saw that it is executing from start to end without pausing in between. But when we run the application in the debug mode, then we can pause and inspect the values, then see what method is returning. We can also do some testing by passing the different values to the method. So we can do that all in the debugging. So now let's see what is the difference between the debugging and the running application. When you run your app, it executes from the start to end without stopping. But when you debug, then debugger allows you to pause the code execution, check the variable values, then go through line by line using the various features of the debugging, like step over, step into. Okay, now where you can perform the debugging? You can perform the debugging in any IDE that is supported by your programming languages. For now we are considering the Java, so we can perform the debugging in the IntelliJ VS Code or the Eclipse. Okay, now let's see some of the basic concepts of the debugging. Okay, so first is the breakpoint, means the marker where the program pauses. Okay, means suppose for this example, we will debug the code and find the what is going wrong, that our final price is getting too high even after applying the discount. So whenever you want to debug the code, first thing you need to run, means that start the means execute this code in the debug mode, then only you can apply the various breakpoints and the features of the debugging. So instead of the running into the normal state, we will just run it into the debug state. Okay, debug calculator main. Now again it executed like a normal program from the start to end, but not paused. So we have to tell the program where we want to pause. So first thing, we have to apply the breakpoints where we want to pause. So we can apply the breakpoints like this. On the left side you can see the numbers, okay, for each line. So whenever I hover the numbers, then I can see the red dot. So you have to just click, and when this red dot appears, then that means it is the breakpoint, and your program execution will stop at this point. Okay, so suppose if I now run the application, execute the application in the debug mode, then it will stop at that breakpoint. Okay, now I can see what are the values of the variables for this code. Okay, means I can see the item price is 100 and the quantity is 3. So IntelliJ provides you the console where you can perform the some basic operations that you need to verify while debugging. So at the bottom you can see we are in the debug window, where you can see the various buttons that we can use while debugging. And also there is one tab, thread and variables. In this input you can add any code expression and that will execute. Let's see, suppose you want to see the what is the value of item price, then just enter the item price, and then it will show in the result what is the value of the item price. And also you can see the IntelliJ also showing the variable values by default at the time of the debugging. Okay, so let's just, this is the breakpoint. Then let's just move to the second concept, that is step over. Step over means move to the next line without going inside method. Okay, what does it mean? Now we are at the line 10. So okay, everything looks good till this line, so we want to move on. So find is there anything wrong on the next line. So what we can do, we can step over to the next line while we are in the debug mode. So on the bottom left side you can see this step over button. Okay, in the debug window you have to click this step over, or you can use the shortcut key F8 to step over. Okay, let's just step over. Now we moved to the next line 11. We applied the breakpoint at the 10, but we moved to the 11. Now we can see in the UI, in the window, that it is showing the subtotal as 300. Means it is showing the what is the calculation done, that item price into the quantity, and the value again it is showing in the UI. And you can see that inside the debug window also at the bottom, like this subtotal 300. Okay, so everything looks good till now. So we will just step over. Okay, now it printed the subtotal before discount. You can check that in the console. Okay, it printed subtotal before discount 300. Now we came to method. Now there is some code that will execute in this method. So now you want to see or debug that code also, what is happening inside the method. So you have to go inside the method. If we do step over, then it will move to the next line, that is line 16. But if you want to go to the code what is executing inside the method, then you have to use the another button, that is step into. So you can see in the debug window at bottom left corner, okay, near the step over, that is step into. When you click in on step into, see now we are inside the method calculate final bill. So we can see what parameters this method received, subtotal and the discount percentage. Now Again there is another method, that apply discount. If we want to go inside the method, then again we will use the step into. Let's just find that whether this method is working correctly or not. What we can do, we can just copy that code and go to the thread and variables that is present inside the debug window, just paste it and hit. So we can see after applying the discount, it is showing the result as 330. So but actually after applying the discount, the value should decrease, okay, but it is increasing. So something going wrong in this method, apply discount. So what we will do, we will just go inside this method and see what is wrong. Okay, so in this method what we are doing, this adding the amount with the calculating the discount percentage from the amount, but instead of the adding, it should be subtraction, not addition. So we found the bug, let's just fix okay. And then but after fixing, you have to again execute the application in the debug mode. Okay, so what we will do, we will just again move to next code. So find if is there any other issue in the code apart from the discount. So, okay, so we came out of the apply discount. Now just move to the next line, that is calculate text. That just if you want to go inside the calculate text, again you can go in using the step into, and it will show again the what the amount we received as a parameter. Okay, in the debug console also you can see. Again we will do the step over. Now it moved to the next line. Or suppose if you have the method with a very large code and you checked the code, means some lines, and you saw, means you concluded that the error is not from this code and you want to get out from the this method. Okay, so you can use the step out button that is present in the debug console, which is near the step into button. So just click on the step out and it will means allow you to come out of this method. Let's just move to the another line, that is line number 23, which is returning the discount price plus the tax amount. Let's go to the again from where the method is called. Okay, just move to the next line. Now you can see in the final amount it is showing 389. Okay, just step over. So now again in the console it was printed the final amount 389. Okay, but not printed the calculation complete because we are at that line, it is not completed yet. So we will just step over that also, and that's it. Miss the you completed the program and you found the issue, that what is the issue. Okay, there are some other buttons like this continue and the view breakpoints and the mute breakpoints. Let's see what are those. Just execute the application in the debug mode again. Okay, so you have one debug, means that breakpoint. Now you are applying another breakpoint and you don't want to pause the code in between this breakpoint. You have to just want to move to the next breakpoint without doing manually the step over. So what you can do, just apply the another breakpoint and use this button resume program, and it will resume the program till the next breakpoint. Okay, if I click on this resume button at the debug window, then it moved me to the next breakpoint instead of moving to the line 11 and 12. Means this line are executed but the program not paused at those lines. Okay, so this is the resume button. Now suppose after this breakpoint I don't have any breakpoint, so if I did resume, then it will end our program. Okay, let's see, means it finished our program execution. So again just start in the debug mode to see these last two buttons, view breakpoints and the mute breakpoints. So when you click on the view breakpoints, it will show the what are the breakpoints that you applied in your application. Okay, so now you can see in the calculator.java there is one breakpoint on line number 14 and there is one breakpoint on line number 10. So you can disable those breakpoint from here. Okay, means when your application code base is huge and you have applied multiple breakpoints and your program is getting paused at every breakpoint and you want to remove that, so you can simply use this feature and remove the breakpoints where those are applied. Okay, and the next part is the mute breakpoints. What does this means? Suppose we have the two breakpoints, okay, on the line number 10 and the line number 14. Okay, our program now paused to the line number 10 and you found the issue, or you think you don't want to debug the code further and just want to execute the code. So what you can do, you have to just remove all the debuggers, okay, using the view breakpoints. But suppose if you have multiple breakpoints, then it will take time. So what you can do, you can just click on the mute breakpoint. So it's like debugger now will not consider these breakpoints and your program will execute without pausing anywhere. So suppose if I continue, see, now all the program execution is done, okay, by muting the breakpoints. So these are the basics of the debugging. So you can use the main power is in the thread variables. You can calculate any expression or find the value of the any variables in this thread consoles. Okay, so these are the basics of the how we can debug our Java code in the IntelliJ. Hope you find this helpful. Okay, let's just meet in our next video. Thank you.